All right.
Brad.
Like, dude, you're an idiot.
I'm doing very well, Jen. Is it just going to be me and you, or Eli and Zach going to pop in?
Yeah, they'll talk every once in a while.
Every now and then we'll kind of
He was already right away.
It's kind of what we're used to you attacking us, so.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Look at
Let's just put it this way. Who do you see as the quarterback week 1 for the Green Bay Packers?
I see.
You're so weird.
What up, everybody? I had to see if that would work. It did, so it was worth it. Welcome in to Packers Bears Week Open Book. Very exciting time for everyone. A lot to get to in this week's show. A lot going on in Packer Nation. But before we jump into that, Jen, Zach, excited that all three of us are here this week because, again, I do think it's going to be an interesting show. I'm a weird guy, a little bit of a silly goose. What's going on, Jacob? Thank you all for coming in. But yeah, guys, how was your Thanksgiving weekend? Time with the family, watching some football, all that stuff. Jen, what were you? I know what you were up to, but how did it turn out?
Yeah, it was good. Had 2 separate Thanksgivings, so it was fun. Obviously with family, my brother in town, all that stuff. Got to just, all of us be together. I think that was the first time he got to meet the twins, so that was exciting. But yeah, I mean, just a lot of football, a lot of family, a lot of food, kind of just like the 3 most important things in life, honestly.
Yeah, football, family, food, the 3 Fs, the only Fs that I could think of in life that are important. Zach, how are your Fs?
Are you sure?
Yeah.
There's not one you're missing? Not even one?
No, maybe like Frankenbeans, whatever that is.
You really want to ask Divergent that question?
Yeah, Divergent would never know.
Virgin.
By the way, one of the better ongoing Twitter gags that we have is definitely Divergent. Better than my bald one. That's just not factual.
No, the bald one's funny too. I haven't hit you with a Divergent in a while. I'm gonna have to conjure something up.
Divergent retired actually. Now he just sits at home, thinks about his future and past. It's oh wow, Chris got me there. He's bald. It's good. I'm really not though. I'm really not. It would be cooler though. It'd be a lot cooler if you were. All right, but I feel like so Thanksgiving is actually pretty kind of garbagey because at being the avid sports gambling addict that I like to be, I don't normally like to talk about my bad beats, but this was a very special one. I don't know if you guys watched the Dallas game, but they were at the 1-yard line and gave a handoff to some tight end named Peyton Hendershot or something instead of giving it to Tony Pollard. And I had like a $10 bet that would have made me $12,000 if Tony Pollard scored there. So that was cool. It kind of set my whole Thanksgiving for the day. Peyton Hendershot.
I love when bad things happen to you.
I mean, realistically, it was like a terrible stretch of football days, but
yeah,
man.
Football. Yeah, that was it was an interesting weekend for football. So let's just jump into.
Are we not going to ask like how Zach's Thanksgiving was?
Didn't
no, it's fine.
Oh, I asked you how your Fs were, and then we got derailed from the Divergent talk. But yeah, Zach, please tell us how your food, family.
No, it's fine. We can move on. It's all right.
Okay, well, don't say that we didn't care.
That's true.
I mean, I know you guys. I know you guys don't care. It's fine.
Yeah. Well, we have to make it look like we do, though.
Yeah, I know. You guys do a good job.
Yeah. Know how to fake it. That's for sure. Fake it till you make it. But yeah. All right. So Zach doesn't want to give us details of his Thanksgiving. How rude. But let's.
Since Sam asked, I'll tell you. Only because Sam asked.
Oh.
No, it was good. I mean, that was same thing as Jen, just football and food all day. Sister came over, ate.
Andrew Tate, he came by.
That's really it. Andrew Tate. What the fuck is with this Andrew Tate? This Andrew Tate guy. Like, I don't know who he is.
The worst person to be associated with at this point.
Like until 3 months ago, I've literally never heard of this person in my life, and now I can't go 5 minutes without seeing him. What did he do?
Well, he should be your idol. He should be your idol because he's bald.
Because he's a bald dickhead.
I thought you were gonna say because he's an asshole, but fine. Being bald, I guess that's fair. But literally, I don't know what he's about. I just know he has some very intense opinions about life that are interesting, to say the least.
He has a really aggressive, like, alpha male, beta male agenda. Like, it's really strange. I barely know who he is.
All I know is that I think I saw he's gonna fight. What was it, Andrew? What's the Paul, the boxer, the Paul
Logan Paul or Jake Paul or whichever.
One of the fucking Pauls. Yeah, they look the same.
I don't know who. I mean, I know who Andrew Tate is now, but I wouldn't mind seeing one of the Pauls, whichever one it is, gets knocked out.
I don't know if either of you will know what I'm talking about when I say this, but when I hear the word Paul, all I think of is that three-eyed monkey from like Nickelodeon.
I'm Paul.
Yes, that would play like after Jimmy Neutron was on or whatever. That's all I think of when I hear the name Paul.
I don't remember the name, but now that you said Jimmy Neutron, I remember the image of it. Jimmy Neutron was awesome. Carl
was.
What's his name? Whatever Carl's name was. He was my idol.
Carl Weezer.
Weezer, yeah. Oh no. Okay. But yeah. So
mamas.
What the fuck?
All right. So
why did that sounded good?
Yeah. As Chris asks, it is a Packers show, so let's jump into it.
Jimmy Neutron's a Packers fan. You didn't know that?
Yeah. See, by the way, in high school, people used to call me Jimmy Neutron because of my hair. It was
you have a big forehead.
Yeah, it was wow, that's offensive. Considerably higher. See, I wouldn't be able to be called Jimmy Neutron if I was
okay.
bald.
Sam's comment though, Danny Phantom. Danny Phantom was like my first love.
Right.
So facts.
He's right. Yeah, Danny Phantom was bad.
I remember Danny Phantom. But I know. Oh yes, Caillou.
That isn't. I was not allowed to watch Caillou because he complained too much and whined.
I don't know if you guys remember the Family Guy clip when Peter talks about Cat Dog. He's very drunk and he's like, "Cat Dog." Like, how do they go to the bathroom? When the cat goes to the bathroom, does it come out of the dog's mouth? What a terrible existence. And he just goes on and on about Cat Dog. It's very good.
I mean, it was a great show, but also a valid question.
It is, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
definitely.
And now Zach's lights began flickering.
It just did it one time. Relax. Well, yeah.
It was an aggressive flicker. But yeah, now for the 6th or 7th time, let's see if we can jump into Sunday night's really interesting game, in my opinion. I think it went differently than a lot of Packer fans would have expected. 40-33 Eagles. I could be wrong, but I think it's the highest point total for the Packers this year. A lot of stuff to talk about in this game. So let's just initial takeaways from the game. Zach, at the end of the night, I mean, I know we're going to talk about Jordan Love, but let's say outside of Jordan Love, your biggest takeaways from this game. We'll get to Love soon.
Biggest takeaways. Well, A.J. Dillon looked like A.J. Dillon.
That was nice.
We talked about it a little bit last week, how kind of the offensive line is playing a part in kind of his step back this year and just that inconsistency up front. And he's not like Aaron Jones where he can create behind the line of scrimmage and wiggle his way free. He's a bruiser. And I don't know what clicked this past week, or maybe there was just something the Packers were exploiting. I mean, I think Sam would probably know. Yeah, just cut me off. It's fine.
Yeah.
No, I said because we talked about him last week.
Yeah, we brought it up. We finally brought him up for the first time this year, and they responded.
He didn't sneak it in. You asked, I don't know what happened. I told you what happened. We talked about him.
No, I don't remember. No. I was going to say, I don't know if Sam maybe saw something on film that the Eagles were doing that maybe the Packers kind of took advantage of, because he's our resident film guy now. Sam is the guy for the film grinding. So maybe there was something the Eagles were doing where the Packers just kind of exploited it. But either way, they finally got that tandem going in the backfield that we saw last season between Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon. And he was running with confidence. He was lowering his shoulders, and he was embracing contact. So, that's going to be key. If the Packers are going to win, these final 5 games and somehow miraculously sneak their way into the playoffs, if they're going to do it, then it's going to be through the running game. It's going to be through Aaron Jones and through A.J. Dillon. Yeah. I don't know how the passing game is going to look with Aaron Rodgers dealing with multiple injuries, but I mean, A.J. Dillon running like A.J. Dillon was the biggest takeaway. That's really the only positive takeaway outside of Jordan Love and outside of Christian Watson, because everything on the defensive side of the ball was just complete shit.
Yeah, yeah, I'm sure.
Nixon was good.
Yeah, Keyshawn Nixon, very exciting.
Yes, Keyshawn Nixon. Yeah, absolutely. He averaged. I'm trying to remember this off the top of my head. He averaged more yards per kick return with at least 5 attempts than any Packer has done in 5 decades.
I did panic because he fumbled the one.
Oh, I freaked
out. And I was
out.
like, oh no, it's going to be like one of those situations where
he didn't need to catch one, so it was a little frustrating. But obviously,
he got off to a really bad start.
Yeah.
But just
he made up for it.
The most exciting / surprising parts of those returns was not seeing the yellow flag ticker come up, because that's what I was waiting for. I was like, oh, we got past the 20 flag. So
thank God. Every time, not even just the Packers, but across the league, anytime there's a big return, there's laundry on the field. Yeah, he gets brought back. It's the most annoying thing in the world.
It comes a point where it's not even worth having punts in the NFL. Because if there is a return of over 10 yards, 9 out of 10 times there's a block in the back or a hold or something. So I do agree that is very annoying. I have to do this very badly. Oh
my God, I hate you. I hate your fucking guts.
Happy Thanksgiving. That was deeply satisfying. All right. So yeah, I guess I'll talk about Christian Watson because it's hard not to. The guy catches the ball and you just can't catch him. I think Darius Slay said today earlier that, I mean, he outran when you're outrunning angles, that's how you know you have some serious speed. And that's what he did. I mean, when he caught that ball over the middle, the safety had the angle on him towards the sideline, and he never even really let it get close. Like, he just burnt him there. And Zach, I saw your tweet earlier. I forgot the exact numbers, but his stats over 17-game season would be very exciting to see, I think, for anyone in football. I do remember 34 touchdowns, which I think is a fair floor for him next year. 34 to 40 touchdowns should be expected. Aaron Rodgers, Christian Watson, year 2. I mean, come on. So yeah, let's do the negative before the positive. Defense, Jen. I mean, watching the defense,
garbage.
All right. The end. I mean, right? That really could be the end. But
honestly, one of the things that made me, I kind of miss Eric Stokes' speed, because it was so hard to watch some people run, like chasing guys like Hurts and Sanders. Like, I don't know, everything looked slow. And I was like, I kind of miss Eric Stokes' speed in this situation. It also is just hard to watch linemen, like D linemen, try and chase Jalen Hurts. Like, that was just, it was awful. Like, it literally took years off my life. It kind of reminded me of when you're having a bad dream and you're trying to run away and like you're not moving. That's like what it looked like I was watching, like me trying to run in my dreams.
I mean, the first third down of the night, we were like, all right, this is what it's going to be. We just knew it. What was it, 3rd and like 8 or 3rd and 10?
Like, when you 100 rushing yards from Hurts and there's still like 30 seconds left in the first quarter. It's just like,
it's a bit,
there's like not enough negative words to explain what happened.
So yeah, it's infuriating, the defense. It's been infuriating most of the season. And Matt LaFleur in his press conference, continues to stand by Joe Barry, the scheme, the defense, saying if he thought it was one person, he would make that change, but that's not what he believes. So Zach, in your opinion, do you think this is more execution, more scheme, a little of both? How do you see it?
I think blame is in every party. I think there's blame in the players' party, on Barry, the whole defensive staff, even Matt LaFleur for. Actually, I can't really blame Matt LaFleur. I mean, he's defending one of his coaches. He's not going to go up there and be like, "Oh yeah, I need to make a change. Joe Barry fucking sucks." He's not gonna do anything. It'd be funny. It would be the funniest thing in the world. But he's not going to do something like that.
Yeah.
So I think, when you have a scheme that isn't working, contrary to whatever the coaches say, they say the scheme is fine, the scheme is working, players aren't executing, whatever. When you have a scheme that isn't maximizing the potential of the players that they have, then it's just you're going to see pretty much what the Packers have been, what they've been defensively. And there is no excuse. I know they're missing Rashawn Gary. I know they're missing Eric Stokes, but there is no excuse for the talent that they have, the speed that they have, for them to be as bad as they have been. and it didn't seem like they had any sort of plan for Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
I mean, I was loving it. I was loving it because he's my dynasty fantasy quarterback. So I was digging it. I was totally happy. I was fine. But
Wow.
it just seemed like there were too many like leaks in some of the blocks that the defensive players were engaging in. There were leaks. He was able to just break. He was able to break out of contain too easily. And they were getting some pressure up front. Like Kingsley Nagbar, he was having a good game. He batted down a pass on the line of scrimmage. I think on the very first possession, it was first pass. I think Justin Hollins, two practices under his belt. Yeah, 2 practices under his belt, and he's already making an impact. He looks great, but that's the problem. Like they were getting home, and they weren't able to stop Jalen Hurts. Like guys in the secondary weren't able to rally to the ball carrier, and that's in a zone scheme. That's everything, especially what the Packers play. Whoever gets the ball, all of the hats go to the ball carrier. Everyone rallies to the ball carrier, and they weren't doing that. It was just too easy for them.
Yeah, there was wide open lanes anytime that the play lasted more than maybe 2 seconds. He could just run up the middle. And like you said early in the beginning, it's just most frustrating is it just didn't seem like they were prepared for a running quarterback. It's like as if they were going into the game and the Eagles still had Nick Foles or something. And it's like, no, Jalen Hurts is actually the quarterback. You should probably have a spy on him. And there were times that Quay Walker was spying on him. And there were also some times that he missed some tackles on him. That was pretty disappointing. But overall, I would say Quay Walker's been impressive as a rookie inside linebacker. But yeah, the most frustrating part, I mean, no doubt execution was bad, missing tackles left and right. I think Matt LaFleur came out today saying 22, and that seemed like maybe the low end of things. 22 missed tackles. I mean, I was trying to do the math in my head of per play, how many, I mean, it's just, how do you miss 22 tackles in a single game? It seems nearly impossible. So, you can't blame Joe Barry necessarily for missing tackles. You can maybe say, guys weren't in the best position to, make those tackles or make other plays, stop Jalen Hurts from running. But yeah, I would say blame definitely has to go all over this defense right now. But
wasn't it a few years ago that some of the leaders on the defense went and had a meeting with Pettin when things weren't going well? Have we seen anything like that from the leaders on the defense, like going and having meetings or kind of trying to?
Earlier in the year, I don't think they had a meeting, but I know early in the year reports came out that they were not happy with the scheme, that they didn't think they were going to put in.
Well, it was. I think it was 2020. I think it was when Zadarius Smith was playing. Some of the guys. They went in there and talked to Mike Pettin.
Because that's kind of one of the things that has been in my mind, if it is purely scheme and players feel like they can't succeed in the scheme that they're in, are they going in and are people going in and having these conversations about whatever? Because nothing seems to be changing week in and week out. We don't see any kind of different vibe from the defense. It's same old, and it's not working.
Who would be the ones to take initiative and do that? Because right now, as far as I'm concerned, these guys are just kind of letting it fester. No one's speaking up, at least that we know.
It seems
who are the leaders? Who are the leaders that are gonna step up and do that? Rashawn Gary's injured. Devondre Campbell hasn't played in 4 games. Jair Alexander doesn't really. He's more of a talker on the field. He doesn't really seem like the guy that's going to stand up in front of the room and motivate everybody and get the fire going. So, who's going to be the one to take initiative and do something like that? I don't think there's really much. Probably Preston Smith, but outside of him,
or even Rashawn Gary. I mean, he's been hurt, but I would say Gary or maybe Devondre Campbell. We haven't seen a lot.
Even if they're hurt,
then
they should also be the ones having conversations with the players too. They can't be out there executing and helping. It's got to be frustrating for them seeing the way this defense is just going down the rabbit hole.
Yeah.
It's extremely. I don't know how, whether it's Gary Campbell, like you said, it doesn't matter if you're injured. Motivating your team doesn't involve. You could motivate them through playing, but we're talking about specifically through getting the team together, talking, figuring out what's going on. And it doesn't seem like anyone's doing that. And it seems like, at least to me, there's just a lot of, I don't know, maybe negative energy around the defense. Maybe they don't feel like they're being put in the best position. But even Jair, yeah, we don't. I mean, I don't know. I just like maybe it just rubs me the wrong way. Like when the defense was playing the way it was on Sunday, and he's still celebrating like every other play that happens like near him that is a tackle or whatever. It's like you're giving up what 150 plus yards on the ground to a quarterback, 360 total on the ground, 500 total in the game. I don't really see any scenario in which you should be, oh Ben, in which you should be celebrating, unless you get an interception or something of that nature, a fumble, a sack, whatever. I get it, but if you're tackling a guy 8 yards downfield and you're losing by 2 possessions, and the other team is running for 300 yards, you shouldn't jump up and do some kind of dance or something. Like it's not the time. So obviously, look, I love Jair Alexander, but
I mean, to be fair, they also booed him when he got hurt.
yeah, they were. That was, I mean, classic Philly fans, but
It's
that was
Philly. Like you kind of want to rub their face a little differently.
Did you guys see the video of him walking off the field by his first injury? Yeah, the double bird. That was nice. I do enjoy that.
I mean, at this point, though, whatever is going to get them fired up, like, sure, like they made a tackle. At this point, making a tackle is something we're celebrating because it doesn't happen as much as it should. So, whatever you got to do to put energy out on that field, I don't care. Like, be happy, enjoy the game, create positive energy. Just, I don't know, do it earlier in the game so that you don't have to do it when you're down so much.
And yeah, they had they had multiple chances in that game to come back and make it a game. After the Nixon kick returns, they had some great field position, and I think on the 4th down stop, they had great field position and 3 and out. So essentially, on all of their best field positions of the night, they went 3 and out, which is one of the more frustrating parts, of this offense this year. Is it just seems, I mean, they're not usually put in good positions, but even when they are, they're not taking advantage of it. And the times we score, it's like on a 10-play, 5-minute drive, unless it's a Christian Watson, deep play. But otherwise, this offense, there's not a lot of explosive plays. They're not taking advantage of a lot. So it's frustrating. But now that we're on the offense,
well, they actually scored on a turnover, which was nice.
Yeah, I was about to say, I was like, there was a huge turnover in the game that I could not remember.
I don't remember who knocked it out.
Rudy Ford.
They picked it up. And then, we actually, scored.
Quay Walker.
Yeah,
Quay Walker.
Was it just me?
I don't know who punched it out, though, because he scooped it. I don't remember who initiated the fumble.
Don't yell at me.
It was this. It was this man, Mr.
Well, I was like, it was Quay, and then you guys are like 2 seconds later, like, oh yeah, it was Quay, by the way. Yeah, anybody know?
Yeah. I was trying to envision the play in my head for a second. What are you going from me?
Well, yeah, Jen, it was Quay. All right, it was Quay. But
thank you for confirming that.
Yeah,
I think the fumble recovery went to Quay Walker.
Yeah, and then he was running downfield. It was also Quay Walker.
Yes.
He didn't.
That's right.
He didn't switch.
How could I forget Quay Walker? It's crazy.
Yeah.
By the way, Jen, Quay Walker recovered a fumble and ran it back.
All right.
Zach, who are the starting safeties of this team?
Ooh, God.
Valid question now. Valid question now.
It's not who you thought it was. That's for
sure. It's actually, yeah, that's true. I don't know.
Yeah, no one will ever know.
Not Savage and Amos anymore, I don't think.
Yeah. So yeah, we don't know. We don't know who the starting safeties are, and we might not know who the starting quarterback is either. With Jordan Love.
What a fucking segue! Oh my God, that was good.
I'm the segue man, but yeah, we got to talk Jordan. We got to talk Jordan Love. Very, very exciting. Quarter and a half ish it was, maybe just a quarter out of Jordan Love. And yeah, it was definitely very exciting. It was encouraging to see that out of him. So let's talk Jordan Love, and then we can talk a little bit about the future, I guess. But yeah, Jen, your first impressions of Jordan Love's first real action of 2022.
Yeah, I mean, when I saw him coming in, I was kind of like, you know what? I hope that he just strings together some positive yards, some positive plays. And then immediately the touchdown to Watson. And I was kind of like, oh shit, this is happening. It was it happened so fast. I didn't even really get to process Jordan Love's in, he's taking snaps, plays are being made. And it was so fast and it was so quick. And I mean, it's different obviously, like him and Rodgers very different, but it was fun to see him out there making plays, hitting targets. Him and Watson had a really good connection, which was awesome to see. And yeah, I mean, he gave us hope there for a second, and unfortunately, defense couldn't hang on to that little bit of hope. But I mean, if he could have come in and won that game, the world would have blown up. I don't even know, but
Green Bay would have collapsed. Green Bay would have gone into like civil war. It would have been interesting.
Yeah, no, it was awesome. I mean, obviously, I was going in there hoping that he was going to do some positive things, but he very quickly exceeded what I was expecting to see out of him, especially against this Eagles team.
Yeah, he was very impressive, and I think we all, as Sam points out, were most impressed by his tongue work throughout the night. Zach, outside of Jordan Love's tongue, what was most impressive to you?
Outside of Jordan Love?
Outside of his tongue, specifically.
I don't think he was looking when you put Sam's comment up.
Where is it? Here. Outside of his elite tongue.
Oh, yeah, no, I saw that.
Oh,
okay, yeah, no, I saw that. I couldn't understand Eli. Well, yeah, I was also kind of really like, shocked when he came in and delivered that touchdown, because I mean, I got narratives to push. I got narratives to push online. I've been defending this guy for the longest time, telling people like, hey, we don't know what he is yet. We need to see him in some extensive action. Sunday night was an encouraging step in the right direction. And I think I've said this before about him. Like these bits and pieces that we see of him, like at the end of games, at the end of blowouts, or in the second half of the last year's finale, they're building blocks. Whether we're building up in the right direction or we're taking a step backwards, it's all dependent on his performance, of course. I thought he's shown some good things up to this point, but Sunday night, was definitely the best I've seen him since he came to Green Bay.
Yeah.
And I think everyone would agree with that. He was throwing with so much more confidence than the guy that they drafted out of Utah State. Like he looked just completely refined. I said this on Twitter, okay, and I'm not making a comparison by any means of the two players, but he looked like he has when he came out of college, everyone was saying, look, his skill set is similar to Patrick Mahomes. Some of the off-script stuff he does, some of the sidearm stuff he does, throwing off platform. He looked very similar to the guy that they touted when he came out of college. The throw to Randall Cobb in the end zone when he broke out of the pocket and threw across his body and fit it right into Randall Cobb's stomach, and it was a very clear DPI that they didn't call, but whatever. That was a dot. That was a remarkable throw. The throw in the turkey hole to Aaron Jones on the right sideline. I know by saying turkey hole, these freaks in the comments are going to say some disgusting things, but that's okay. That throw to Aaron Jones should have been caught. It wasn't, but that was a confident starting quarterback type of throw. And like he was setting his feet, he was stepping into his throws, and he was reading the defense. And I mean, they didn't convert their first third down of the night until he hit that 7-yard play to Allen Lazard on the right sideline. So, he was taking what was available to him and hitting everything. And I was really impressed. Now, I want to see, you see, I told you guys.
Chris, good one.
Fill my turkey hole, Dad. Okay.
Yeah. It's just so specific.
That is why. I'm not even going to question it.
Yeah, just don't. It's bad.
Now, it was promising. Those 9 pass attempts, they were promising. I want to see him get a full week, maybe multiple weeks, who knows. I want to see him get a full week to prepare as the starter, and for the opposing team to get that entire week to prepare for him.
Yeah.
I want to see him go against a defense that knows he's fucking coming. I want to see how he handles that. I want to see how he handles the expectation of a full week of practice, the intensity of the position, knowing that, hey, he's the guy right now. He's the starting quarterback. Now, in order for that to happen, they probably need to be mathematically eliminated, because I don't think they're going to have Aaron Rodgers relinquish the job.
Yeah, that does seem unlikely. But yeah, like you said, I would say the biggest thing for me, if he were to get like named that he's starting some week or another, whatever it is, would be the defense having a full week to prepare as opposed to necessarily him. because I mean, obviously we want to see more of him, but I do think I could be wrong, but I don't think he's. I mean, I guess Kansas City, but outside of that game, he's never had any appearances where the defense was planning on seeing him. Maybe against Detroit last year a little bit, but so that would be definitely interesting to me. But like you both said, it was awesome to see how confident he was, the fundamentals, the footwork, and he seemed like he really had a command of the offense. Like he always knew where he was going with the ball, basically right away. That third down conversion, it was a simple out route, but boom, he hit it in stride. I'll even say myself, I think a lot of those boundary throws from Aaron Rodgers, at least since week 5, they've been thrown in the dirt more than they should have, and that's been frustrating to see. So love hitting that, and then the 2 throws that you mentioned, Zach, I think there was only incompletions, or 2 of the 3 incompletions he threw. They're probably his best. Yeah, they're probably his best 2 throws of the night. I loved the throw to Aaron Jones on the sideline. I love anytime. I mean, Rodgers and Jordy used to be the king of hitting those turkey hole shot throws, however you want to call it. But I wish Jones would have came down with that, because I really would have loved to have clipped that up for a long time. But it was just cool to see it. And I think even the throw, his other incompletion was the one that he threw kind of between Lazard and Watson. I think it was Watson in the end zone. But even that, rolling to his right, and he made a decent throw. It was a little bit short, but if he would have held it a half a second longer, you might have seen Lazard breaking open. It could have hit him there. But overall, just very impressive by Jordan Love. So let's get to the bigger picture here. We know Matt LaFleur said that they expect Aaron Rodgers to start this week versus the Bears, and then there's the bye week. Right now, the Packers are hanging on by as much of a thread as you can imagine for any kind of hope for the playoffs. But let's just say, I mean, I'm not going to say we're going to possibly lose to the Bears this week. That's not going to happen. So they win this week then they play the Rams, right? The Rams are pretty trash. So let's say they win that game. But at some point they lose and they're mathematically eliminated. Jen, do you think it's okay, we're eliminated, immediately Love, or maybe we're sticking with Rodgers, or maybe just Jordan Love in week 18? How do you see them handling it, assuming they get eliminated at some point in the next month?
It's a tough question. Just, because obviously, like, I have my personal thoughts on it, but what do I think they're going to do? I don't know, maybe they split more games. Maybe it's, Rodgers and then a couple games at the end. Maybe it's Love. It obviously would be nice to see Love get like a full game with the starting offense, or the offensive line, because I know there's a lot of times where he hasn't played behind the best 5 on the line. So that'd be kind of nice, and just kind of see what we're working with, because, future is going to come quick. Don't really know what's going on, the 5th-year option, what's going to happen with Aaron Rodgers. But at the same time, I have like attachment issues, and I am not ready to like give up on watching Aaron Rodgers play, because I know the end is nearing. So it's tough for me to like not want him to be out there, because I love watching Aaron Rodgers play. And that's kind of been the toughest part for me, is like, I know that it's coming, but I'm not ready for it. So if this is like the last season, I want as much Aaron Rodgers as I can get, even if it's, the kind of crummy football that everybody thinks he's playing, which, not great, but I don't know. I think I just appreciate him too much as a player to not want him on the field, because that's the guy who, when I really started to fall in love with football, it was him and like Jordy and all those guys. So, I mean, he's the other half of my Jordy love. So I think that's the tough part. It's like trying to separate my like attachment to the team versus like what's best for the team. I think that's kind of what's been the hardest part for me. It's honestly why I've stayed off Twitter, because I just feel like it's too hard for me. And I feel like I'm not allowed to say like, I want Aaron Rodgers to play, because I'll probably get like canceled. But I think, I want to see Love succeed, but it's also like, Love go out there and play means that Rodgers is on the bench, which makes me sad. So I don't know. It's going to be a really interesting, probably like emotional roller coaster end to the season for a lot of reasons, but I understand that you also need to figure out what the plan for next year is. So I don't know. You can at least like fall back on the fact that Rodgers has some injuries. So maybe it would make sense if Love does play a little bit, but I don't know. It's put me in in an emotionally tough position to want to be on the bench.
Yeah, it's very confusing, honestly, for me in every way.
And I know that a lot of I'm probably in the very small minority of people who want to continue to see Aaron Rodgers playing.
I think there's more than
I also understand the reason to not play him. I'm not naive, I'm not stupid. It's just the kind of fan that I am. So
the chat's being wild tonight, I gotta say. But real quick, I don't know why, Chris. I don't know why you think I would have to be forced. This is what I do every weekend, bro. Classic.
Rodgers actually did that because Eli recommended it to him.
I texted him Aaron, I feel so cleansed and full of karma and pancha, whatever that is. It's awesome. So, and then, Ben, real quick, that's something we do also after our cleanses. We're COVID till people, but no, Jen, I feel very similar. I'm very conflicted on how to feel right now, but I'm sure Zach will come in with a very rational anti-Aaron Rodgers based argument. So let's get to that because it's going to be my favorite part of the night.
Where does this come from?
Maybe your entire Got him.
Why? Because I make fun of the guy that fucking asked a 22-year-old if he believes 9/11.
I think the question really should have been phrased if he believes who was behind 9/11. I don't think anyone disputes that 9/11.
To be fair, Kaiser kept saying look into it. He seemed very interested in it.
He did seem like he got convinced by Rodgers about inner Earth and lizard people.
I don't think there's anybody who doesn't believe it didn't happen.
Yeah, I was saying I don't think anyone's nope, 9/11 not a real thing, never existed. I don't think that's
okay. No, not that. But if you're if you're,
I think you could argue more the government behind it.
No.
Don't yell at me.
We're not fucking doing that on this show. We're not about to start doing that.
A 9/11 argument? Yeah.
I don't understand why anybody is surprised that the guy who talked about seeing UFOs is talking about conspiracy theories.
Okay, well, because aliens.
That's what I said. That's what I said. No one should be surprised that he.
Yeah.
That he
I know people who are super into conspiracy theories.
I love conspiracy theories.
I don't rip them apart on Twitter for it.
I'm personally.
You guys sound like my mentions right now.
How could you not love conspiracy?
We're not that bad.
I could. I believe in just about anything that I see on the internet. So whatever it is, I'm that's got to be real. The president's a lizard? For sure he's a lizard. I love it. I'm a big lizard guy. So, but Zach, let's see. So how would you approach, I mean, it is weird because it's a bye week. So it kind of throws things off. But let's just say right now, going forward, not yet mathematically eliminated, do you agree that Rodgers should still be out there, or do you just think it's time to turn it over to Love?
I think Aaron Rodgers should play until they lose again.
So
is that fair?
For the next 2 or 3 years, probably.
You don't have to ask us. It's your opinion.
No, well, apparently I'm going to push a fucking anti-Aaron Rodgers agenda, but no.
Yeah.
You're just the more rational of the three of us.
We like
Eli made it sound like I'm irrational. No, I think
you're more realistic.
Play Aaron Rodgers until you lose. Whether that's going to be, I don't think it'll be against the Bears, but if it's against the Rams or if against the Dolphins, whenever it is, and they lose, I mean, they're going to have enough hard of a time getting into the playoffs right now, as is. They're going to need a shit ton of help, and they're going to need to win their final 5 games. So whenever that next loss comes, I don't care when it is, then, hey, we're going to look ahead to the future. We're going to he's open. He even said he's open to every conversation involving that. Yeah. So you discuss it with him, see how he feels about it, and just let him know, hey, this is what we're going to do. And we're communicating this to you. We're making sure you're on the same page, and we want you to be okay with it. If you're not okay with it, then we're fucking still doing it anyway, because we drafted this guy with a first-round pick, and we've seen very, very limited action of him so far. They have 80 career pass attempts to go off him. So, they need to get a look at Jordan Love, an extensive look, ideally on a week-to-week basis. And I'm sure Aaron Rodgers understands that. He said today he knows it's a business. Yeah. And sometimes, businesses have to make certain decisions that are in the best interests of that business. They're gonna. It's so fucking tricky, man. Because I don't think Aaron Rodgers is gone next year. I think he's still in Green Bay.
That was going to be my follow-up, because that's what makes it so confusing. It's like, let's put in Love, but then potentially have Rodgers for another year. So then
But
it's
then
like,
you can.
I mean, at least you could have a
That means
feel.
Love would be able to pursue a career somewhere else, or like earn a starting
Exactly.
job.
That's what I was gonna say. Like you're kind of like, what's the word I'm thinking of? You're kind of audition. He's auditioning pretty much. When he gets those couple games or however many games it's going to be, it's basically an audition for whoever the Packers are potentially going to trade him to, or whoever.
Matt Flynn situation.
What?
Kind of like a Matt Flynn situation. I mean, they didn't trade Matt Flynn, but we all know Flynn got that deal in Seattle essentially off a game or two of good performance.
Because of that game against the Lions where he just completely went off.
Awesome. What a great day. That was
funny as hell.
That was
no defense to be had, but it's okay.
It's like, by the way, I feel like most games, like even the Packers Sunday night game, I would rather see 40-33 than like 16-13, even if it's frustrating to watch your defense suck. It's just, I want to see points.
Oh yeah. I want excitement.
Yeah, like I can appreciate a good defensive battle, but it's not as exciting, obviously, as a bunch of touchdowns. But yeah, I think that's the biggest question for most Packer fans. At least for me, it's just like, I do agree there is value to seeing Love, even if Rodgers does come back. But Jen, at least in your mind right now, do you see Rodgers returning for another year as, I guess, percentage-wise? Where would you put it between 1 and 107 specifically? If you do anything, 107, that's the new scale, 1 to 107.
I feel like Aaron Rodgers is way too competitive to end on a season like this. I feel like he's going to want to come back, kind of have a revenge tour. I mean, that's just his mindset. He's talked about playing into his 40s before, but I think that he would want to do it here. And well, not here, like, Green Bay.
Want to do it.
Not here.
Yeah.
But here being Green Bay. And I just think that I don't see retirement being his option right now, just because like who of the greats like wants to go out on a year like this?
Yeah.
Probably no one. So I think that's probably why he understands the business part of it. But I would definitely say I'm leaning more towards him being back than I am not. I think I have to like mentally prepare myself to be wrong, because I usually am. But I don't know. I'd say like I'd give it like a 70%. I feel like I'm just like talking to myself here.
I don't know why. I'm in a very laughing mood, and the chat has been on one tonight.
I feel like I'm, like average confidence that he'll be back with the Packers, and hopefully they turn some things around for next season, find some offensive weapons, figure out what the hell is going on with the defense, draft well, figure out the Jordan Love situation. But yeah, I would anticipate he's back next year for the revenge tour. And I hope that the rest of the team is on board, because there's a lot of people who should want to be better next year. So it's not just Rodgers who's having a bad year. It's a lot of people on this team. So I think there's potential to kind of build off of who you have here and figure out what the hell is going on and hopefully try again next year.
Yeah, Sam, if I could buy that shoe off you, I got it. But
sick motherfucker.
It's a really confusing, like even for me, because I do want to see, like, we drafted Jordan Love, whether I love the pick or didn't love the pick, whatever it is, he's there. I want to see what he can do. And if let's just say he plays, a game or two at the end of the season, whatever it is, if he shows a lot of potential, even for me, like it would be hard to be like, all right, well, sit for another year, and Rodgers come back. And again, I would never complain, obviously, if that were to happen. I'm not going to ever turn down more Aaron Rodgers football. But I do understand as a fan base, as a team, why it can be confusing. So, Zach, I mean, I guess kind of the same question. I mean, let's just say Love gets on the field at some point again this year, impresses again, maybe not incredible, but impresses. Where would that leave you? Like, would you just want to see Aaron Rodgers retire? I assume you wouldn't want to see them trade him. I could be wrong, but I wouldn't want to. But how do you feel about it?
I would get Aaron Rodgers the fuck out of there.
Wow, what an aggressive stance.
I'm being honest.
I don't think you were being honest.
Do you get Jordan Love and he looks great, and all of a sudden you have potentially another 15 to 17 years of Hall of Fame quarterback play?
It would be pretty fun. That's literally unprecedented. Like that, having 2 back-to-back Hall of Famers is fucking unprecedented. Yeah, I mean, who's done? I mean, the closest would be Manning to Luck, and Luck didn't even last. I can't even think of someone close to that. So yeah, I mean,
the 49ers had Steve Young and Dan Marino, or Joe Montana, but
Steve Young,
Dan Marino,
classic 49ers quarterback, Dan Marino.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I would get Aaron Rodgers out of there.
What's frustrating is that I can't argue with you.
You're saying like just if Jordan Love proves he's good, or like in general, you want them to move on next year?
No. Like if they let Jordan Love play for a couple games and he just lights it up, he looks unreal. Put that goddamn face cutout down.
The way you're like going up and down is very inappropriate.
I know. I wouldn't put it past him though.
Had to do it.
If Jordan Love comes out and just absolutely tears it up, and you're like that moment where everyone's been waiting for, where it's like, okay, we're waiting for him to show us something where we know like he's the guy. That's it. This is the moment. That's it. He shows that. Then I would figure out a way to trade Aaron Rodgers if he doesn't retire.
Yeah. So I mean, I almost feel like maybe things change now, but I feel like Rodgers almost ruled out the chances of him playing somewhere else when he came back this year. Things could obviously change, but I would expect Rodgers to just retire before getting traded. Also, I mean, the Packers would have like a $59 million cap hit if they traded him, so it just doesn't really make sense. So yeah, in my opinion, he either retires or he returns, which would almost
be easier on my soul if he didn't play anywhere else.
If he plays anywhere else, I will be a shell of a person. I will just be like an outer shell.
He'll probably go to the Raiders, where Packers' careers go to die, and that'll be the end of the legacy.
Yeah, no. Can you imagine him and Josh McDaniels trying to coexist? I don't think that would work. Josh McDaniels has to be, in my opinion, one of the bigger schmucks in the NFL, but that's just a side point.
A lot of schmucks out there.
Yeah, but I think it's talented to go to that team. Not that they're that great and just be that bad, like so aggressively bad. It's hilarious. But all right, I feel we've gone a pretty decent amount of time without addressing the fact that it's Packers-Bears week. Big game. Regardless of the record, it's Packers-Bears. Always want to win against the Bears in Chicago. I saw today, according to, I believe, TickPick, which I didn't know was a thing and it's a weird name.
I thought you were going to say TikTok.
I know, but like TickPick, I would have rather said TikTok than TickPick. It's a weird name. But either way, that this is the second highest priced average ticket for the Packers-Bears like in recorded history at $419 a ticket, which is wild. That seems like maybe people would be anticipating it's Rodgers' last game against the Bears. I don't know why else it would be so expensive, but let's jump into Packers-Bears. Just I don't know. I mean, going into the game, obviously Justin Fields can be a real fails. That works too.
Tell us how you really feel, Eli.
He fails repeatedly. Zach, going into this game, I mean, it's Packers-Bears. What do you want to see? For sure, I would say, at least for me, out of the defense, that can maybe stop the Bears' running game and get a win.
No, I've lost hope in the defense. I've completely given up.
I hear that. That's fair.
So Packers offense is going to have to put up like 60.
Yeah.
Just kidding. It's still the Bears. We'd only
that should be
25 points.
That should be the fucking recipe anyway. Don't worry about stopping other guys across the league. You're not going to stop Patrick Mahomes. You're not going to stop Josh Allen. You're not going to stop fucking Jalen Hurts. Worry about scoring more points than the other team. Screw defense. Draft some weapons. Draft a game-changing tight end or sign a wide receiver. Whatever. Do something. Load up your offense. Just attack. Aerial attack that they looked amazing doing fucking a decade ago. I mean, this isn't 1986. You're not going to build this great defense just full of studs that's going to hold the other team to 3 points. It doesn't work like that anymore. That's not this league. That's not the current NFL. So,
what is the Dobbs timeline?
He might play.
Well, he practiced today. Yeah, he practiced today.
Okay.
I mean,
I literally haven't looked at my phone.
I just feel like because there's a bye week, knowing the Packers, they might hold him out through the bye week, but I would like to see him
probably.
Back.
Yeah, probably.
I was just thinking because you're talking about just scoring all the points, and now that Watson is in his rhythm, getting him and Dobbs on the field together would be wicked. I'd love to see it.
I do want to see. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Zach, but just Rodgers and Watson and Dobbs. Like with Watson in this mode that he's in, and we already knew Dobbs was making some plays. Like I do think that'll be a big part of Rodgers' mindset. If he's like, do I want to play another year? Do I not? Is his connection with Watson and Dobbs, assuming they're going to be the 1 and 2 for a while now. So yeah, that would be exciting to see them on the field together.
Yeah. I mean, Christian Watson is a lot different of a player now than he was in week 4. I mean, they've only played 52 snaps on the field together this season out of 700 something. So yeah, it's gonna be rare and a potential look into the future. I want to see this offense kind of mesh. I want to see them build off of what they were able to do last week, because last week they looked competent on offense. They were actually doing fairly well. That's mostly what I'm just going to be watching. Just the offense. That's all I care about at this point.
Aaron Jones completely destroyed the Bears in week 2. So, I mean, between him and now that Dylan's kind of back in his mojo, and we got Randall Cobb, who obviously the Bear killer himself. There's no reason to not go into this game and put a lot of points on the board, and hopefully the rivalry game brings out the best in what this team can offer. Because I mean, if you go into a Packers-Bears game with no energy, then what are you even doing on this team? If you don't understand the importance of going out there and giving it all for this game, not only is your entire season kind of riding on each game, winning each game, but, to add on a loss against the Bears would just be the dynamite for this entire season. So go in there with fire, know that you're competent enough to destroy this team and do it. I'm sick of the close games and we almost had it. That was cool. We could have got a game tying touchdown. Darn, maybe next time. No, I want them to just go out there and start hot, stay hot, finish hot. Just remind the Bears that they're below us and
always
go to the bye week with a win.
Yeah. So Jen, with that being said, let's just jump into our score predictions. But real quick, I just want to say to Iowa Joe, it's a quad injury. I haven't seen that it's going to be overly serious, so I would expect him to play this week.
Why would AJ Dillon's quad dare
of all things
taunt him like that?
Oh my Lord. Okay, Chris. It's good. All right, Jen. So you want to see a lot of points. You want to see them kick some ass. So do you actually see that happening, or is that you just with some wishful thinking?
I mean, it's sad that it could be wishful thinking at this point, but no, I think that things, I'm going to say they go well. The offensive line has been healthy. You guys are kind of getting to that rhythm. The Bears are going to have to prepare for Watson, and that's going to be fun to see. So I think that there's a lot of different weaponry that we're going to go into this game with than we did in week 2, and they're not going to know what to do with it. I mean, Watson's speed is going to be tough to cover. So now you have he doesn't even have to necessarily be a downfield threat. He'll beat you with the speed and make it a deep threat. So I think that's exciting. I am going to say, I don't know the math like how to add up the math of the points that I want here. But I'm going to say they score 31 points and beat the Bears 31-20.
31-20. All right,
I hope that math adds up. We'll see.
Well, I mean, any amount of math would add up, unless you said like 1-0. That would not add up. But other than that, it would work. But yeah, 31-20. I would enjoy that. Zach, how do you see Sunday? I believe at noon. So for you, what is that? 10 a.m. How do you see it going? Yeah.
We've watched this team for so long, and we know that they win the games they're not supposed to win. They lose the games they're supposed to win.
Don't say that.
I'm not going to say what you think I'm going to say. I'm just saying, as far as the defensive side of the ball goes, I know we're all expecting them to just look like shit on defense. A lot of this is going to depend on who the quarterback is, because we don't even know if Justin Fields is going to play.
Yeah,
that adds a completely different layer.
Yeah.
Yeah, Simeon or Tim Boyle.
Tim Boyle. That would be. I would love to see.
Is Mooney out as well?
Yeah, Mooney's out for the year. Eddie Jackson's out.
Eddie Jackson.
They're very injured. Losing to this team is always pretty pathetic, but I feel like
Stop Montgomery. Stop Montgomery,
and if Fields plays, obviously stop him. But so Zach. Yeah, to get back to your points as you were going, leading up a very mysterious path.
I feel like, sorry, I'm tired. I feel like the defense is going to show out, probably have one of their best performances of the year, just because we all think so lowly of them right now. So for some reason, they're going to come out and just stop everything the Bears are trying to throw at them, and everyone's going to be like, oh, where the hell was this last week? Why couldn't they do this last week? Because that's what the fucking Packers do. That's just how they are.
Yeah, it'd be very classic.
So no Justin Fields. I say Packers win 24-10. If there is Justin Fields, then there's going to be the need to probably score a little more points. So I would say with Justin Fields, I think 27-23.
Okay. So I earlier tonight was on a Bears podcast, and I said 27-21. So I'm going to stick with that score. I feel like I guess without Fields, it would be different. I would just say something like around, I would still stick with 27, but probably more like 10 or 13 for the Bears. But one other point that now I forgot, so I won't make it. Awesome. Yeah, so 27-21 is what I'm going to go with. And what I was going to say is that classic, the Packers defense has a good game. They win the game, and then we have the bye week. So we have like 2 weeks of like small amount of like hope where it's like, like after the Dallas game, like maybe they could do this.
Where instead of having like 4 days to be happy, we'll have like 10.
I would hate to have 10 days of happiness just to lose to the Rams on Monday Night Football. That would be pretty sad. But yeah, I say they win, and then the rest of the season, who the hell knows? We'll see what happens. But
one game at a time.
One game at a time, exactly. Everyone, this was a very fun and entertaining show. I appreciate everyone who's come into the chat. Gave us definitely some of. I was laughing the entire time. It was hard for me to contain myself. But then, before we head out, why don't you tell everyone where they can find all of your great work?
There. Right there. I'm really super active, so sorry. Life, whatever. But yeah, you can find everything there. Obviously, I'm here every Wednesday with you guys. Pack-a-day, injury report every Saturday. All my bullshit you can find over on Twitter at BigMac_4. That's pretty much it.
All right,
watch your fucking mouth.
Yeah, I mean, I have like relatives watching the show, and they're like, "What the fuck is going on right now?"
My 5-year-old son is literally in the other room watching this on his iPad.
I have 17 nieces and nephews watching this show right now, saying, "God, my uncle's a piece of shit." Zach, how about you?
Yeah, you could find me at that handle on Twitter and Packer Report as well. Who knows? Maybe I'll be back on my old account in the coming days since Elon is unbanning everybody.
Are you going to have like 14 different accounts?
Yeah. It's going to be confusing.
Yeah, I'm gonna use every single one of them too, just to fuck with
No.
everybody.
It's going to be very well. You know what? I guess. All right, it'll actually be kind of entertaining to see. Just if you have 10 accounts, all the mentions. I mean, to times your mentions by 10 would be disturbing, but I would enjoy it. All right, so then before we head out, number one, Andrew's backstage, but we always appreciate him pulling through. Make sure to follow Andrew on Twitter at Mertens_Andrew. As you see at the bottom of the screen, make sure to follow Game On Wisconsin at Game On WI. Subscribe on YouTube at Game On Wisconsin. And I was Chris. There's so many comments. I tried scrolling up. I lost what you were trying to say. He's telling me to show a certain comment, but I lost it now.
Probably about Zach and AWOL Nation, which I don't understand what's happening with that, but
No, I'm not a closet ball man. I'm an openly hairful man, whatever that means.
You're an openly bald man. Yes.
This is how I'm doing the rest of the show now. I'm just so offended. All right, and then myself, where is it? Here, at Book of Eli _NFL. And yeah, here every Wednesday, obviously, and on Packer Report. Everyone, thank you for tuning in. It was an awesome time. Enjoy Packers Bears. We will see you next week at 5 and 8. See you. Oh, I forgot the video. Okay, then. Okay, good.
What you think, Fred? All right.
Brad.
Like, dude, you're an idiot.
I'm doing very well, Jen. Is it just going to be me and you, or Eli and Zach going to pop in?
yeah, they'll talk every once in a while. But
Every now and then we'll kind of.
he was already here right away.
It's kind of, well, we're used to you attacking us, so.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Look at
Let's just put it this way. Who do you see as the quarterback week 1 for the Green Bay Packers?